All right, peace, y'all. Welcome to the Work-Based Learning Program, Week 9. We're about to get deeper into like goal setting, but we're gonna kind of get into I guess the first word that's coming up is like the mystical aspect of it. Um, but yeah, like today we're gonna be talking about Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It came out in 1938. Um, there is, stuff in here about capitalism, and they're not like necessarily coming at things through like a politically informed lens. But nonetheless, like some of the things in here are very insightful. And I wanted to share this with you all as we're, getting in that stage of the process where we're talking about planning, talking about how to move forward on what we said we wanted. And I guess really wanting to um, like convey to you all that it takes like practice and consistency and just, like repetition um, to get those habits in order. And Think and Grow Rich will talk some about that. Ted, you want to share anything about Think and Grow Rich and your experience about it?
Yeah, this Grand Rising. It's just like one of the must reads for folks who want to excel. Whether it's manifestation, you want to learn how to upscale your business, or even personal self development. A lot of people point to this book, and like Brother Greg said, it was written in a time where the landscape was different, but a lot of the principles still apply today. And a lot of stuff was taken from other very mega successful people. There's some things from the Bible in there. So it's a read to meditate on. If it hasn't been on your read list, we hope that you can kind of gravitate to starting to nitpick at it, take little bits and pieces. But a lot of the top wealthy successful people in this country, they kind of praise this book. So if it works for everybody else, we're praying that you find something in there that works for you. Like Brother Greg said, it's all about consistency and repetition. So it's one of our favorites, and we hope it's one of y'all's as well.
Sure. Thank you, Ted. In this book, Napoleon Hill talks about 12, I think 12 or 13 different steps that we'll need to be taking to get towards our goals, like dealing with desire, faith, auto-suggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, decisions, persistence, the power of the mastermind, transmutation, the subconscious mind, the brain, and our sixth sense. Um, I'll be jumping around in some of these, and others it'll be good for you to just like tap in and see what's going on. I think I wanted to start with all right, so this auto-suggestion chapter first gives the definition, which it talks about how it is a term applied to all suggestions and all self-administered stimuli which reach one's mind through the five senses. Stated in another way, autosuggestion is self-suggestion. It is the agency of communication between that part of the mind where conscious thoughts take place and that which serves at the seat of action for the subconscious mind. Through the dominating thoughts which one permits to remain in the conscious mind, whether these are negative or positive, the principle of autosuggestion voluntarily reaches the subconscious mind and influences it with these thoughts. No thought, whether it be negative or positive, can enter the subconscious mind without the aid of the principle of autosuggestion, with the exception of thoughts picked up from the ether. Stated differently, all sense impressions which are perceived through the five senses are stopped by the conscious thinking mind and may either pass on to the subconscious mind or rejected at will. This conscious faculty serves, therefore, as an outer guard to the approach of the subconscious. And like moving further down, he gives some instructions for how to like approach auto-suggestion, and giving yourself those pep talks, really. So if you choose to follow some of these instructions but neglect or refuse to follow others, you will fail. To get satisfactory results, you must follow all instructions in spirit of faith. These instructions given in connection with 6 steps in the 2nd chapter will now be summarized. First, you're going to a quiet spot, and you're repeating out loud what you've written in terms of your goal. The example they've given is that you intend to accumulate $50,000 by the end of January, 5 years hence, but you intend to give personal services in return for the money in the capacity of a salesman. And so by the first day of January 19th, I will have $50,000, which will come to me in various amounts from time. So essentially, like in their antiquated way, they're saying like, I know that on the 1st of January, 5 years from now, I'll be able to make $50,000 from being a salesman. And that'll come in because of my sales services. And then there's a part in here, the 2nd and 3rd part, where they're talking about how they believe that their goal is in their possession. The faith is so strong, they can see it before their eyes, can touch it, and they are now waiting for it to be transferred in time. Whatever the goal is in your like statement of desire and faith, like you have to read that at the beginning of each day and night. And this starts to prime your mind to like always be thinking about that. And always, like when you're sleeping, it'll be thinking about how do we get that 50,000? When you're awake, you'll probably get some flashes of inspiration because you've been like, your mind's always thinking about it. And once you apply this with persistence and you continue going, no matter what, like that's how folks start getting success. I'll jump into like desire and then the desire chapter and then the faith chapter. So where did I want to start on this? Every human being who reaches the age of understanding of the purpose of money wishes for it. Wishing will not bring riches, but desiring riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire riches and backing those plans and with persistence, which is not recognized failure, will bring riches. The method by which desire for riches can be transmuted into its financial equivalent consists of 6 definite practical steps. Fixing your mind the exact amount of money you desire or the exact goal that you desire. It is not sufficient to say, I want plenty of money or I want, a lot of whatever it is. Be definite as to what it is. There's a psychological reason that talks about that. Secondly, you want to determine what you intend to give in return for the money or goal that you desire. There is no reality as something for nothing. And so we all carry many talents, abilities. Like how will those things be in service of our goal? In the 3rd, we establish the date we want to possess this goal. We create a definite plan for carrying that out. We begin at once, whether or not we're ready. We also write out a concise statement with the amount of money or the goal that we intend to acquire. We put a time limit on it, and we state what we'll give in return. Again, we read that statement aloud twice daily. The reason that they talk about burning desire in this chapter and give us instructions for how to like harness it, is because like that's one of the, how do I say? Like this is the fuel for like everything else, for the faith, for the persistence, the reason why we like, you know, tell ourselves that we can do it through the auto suggestion. Like we have to like, yeah, truly want what we're asking for. And when we get into like the esoteric realms, and he actually talks about this kind of stuff later in the book with this concept called creative intelligence. Um, as soon as you name definitely what you want, this book is saying that the universe is going to try to help you get it. And as Tut was saying, and if you all like read an updated copy, they'll bring in like not only like business people from the 30s and 40s or 20s and 30s, but they'll also talk about people from the 80s and 90s and how they've used this book and practiced in this book to you know, succeed. And I think you know, I've tried it. And mostly during when I was in law school, and really trying to like, you know, get myself in the mindset that I can do this. It's not an issue. I had like this whole mantra about like the way I would be, uh, just like generally the person I wanted to be, because I didn't want to lose my person through that hazing process of law school. Um, the mantra included like what I would be doing to make sure that I like succeeded and passed. I wrote out my intentions in the form of a schedule that like had everything from breakfast to um, commute times to flex time, so I could just like do nothing if I wanted to or whatever. And I looked at that stuff daily. Um, you know, maybe more than twice a day. Um, and thankfully, I was able to graduate. Was able to get fairly good grades. Um, and yeah, wanting for you all to at least check out this book and see if it resonates for you. Like this is in actuality the first self-help book, like business self-help book. So like The Secret and like other things that have come onto the scene are really derived from this book. And the way they're talking about like stating your desires, like being clear, like letting the universe know, letting your subconscious know, letting creative intelligence come in and support you, and being persistent. Like those are all things that you'll hear in like modern, uh, those modern voices. Any questions or anything you want to bring in?
Yeah. For me, it was you know, being a new father, trying to transition from my uh, job that I had, I hated, and you know, they also say some things about, you know, not having a plan, you know, planning to fail. I'm pretty sure we all heard of that, but not to the point of like, okay, you know, I have these 10 things I want to do for the day. No, you go minute by minute. I mean, like Brother Greg said, you know, I wake up at 6, shower by 6:15. Just be very intentional with the manifestation process. That's what Think and Grow Rich kind of taught me. And yes, it was written by a European dude, and you know, highlighted a lot of European success, but a lot of the principles are around manifestation and, you know, visualization. They have a lot of African roots as well, especially as like if you relate to like religious and spirituality. It's a lot of stuff there, metaphysical manifestation and stuff like that. So it's a lot. I just say, you know, focus on the part of today. I wouldn't try to go eat the whole book if you haven't already looked into it, and just take your time with it and really just try to apply little stuff, apply what we talked about today in your own time, and then see how it works for you. But this is a proven method to get things done and to manifest. And like Brother Greg said, it could be 50,000, 500 to 5 million, whatever. But just give yourself that date and target, and just, you know what I'm saying, hold yourself accountable. And you'll see some wonders for sure. We guarantee that.
Yeah, so this poem is here to illustrate the law of autosuggestion. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it's almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out of the world we find, success begins with the fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or late, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can.
I say.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't think I want to go into that. Okay. Maybe we'll wrap up on this and then chapter 7. So Napoleon Hill in this book talks about the subconscious mind and how it consists of a field of consciousness in which every impulse of thought that reaches the objective mind through any of the five senses is classified and recorded, and from which thoughts may be recalled or withdrawn as letters may be taken from a filing cabinet. The subconscious mind works day and night. Through a method of procedure unknown to man, the subconscious mind draws upon the forces of an infinite intelligence for the power with which it voluntarily transmutes one's desires into their physical equivalent, making use always of the most practical media by which this end may be accomplished. You cannot entirely control your subconscious mind, but you can voluntarily hand over to it any plan, desire, or purpose which you wish transformed into concrete form. So here's a little writing of the power of the subconscious mind. You can tell what a thought will do in bringing you hate or love, for thoughts are things, and their airy wings are swifter than carrier doves. They follow the law of the universe. Each thing creates its kind, and they speed over the track to bring you back whatever went out from your mind. This book makes sure to I guess convey to us that everything we see in the world today started as a thought. The computer we're on, this application, Zoom, like the cabinets, the chairs, the house, everything started as a thought and then was able to come into the physical reality in some way. And if we dig into it, either through this book or just by asking ourselves the question, I think, well, for me, I do believe that there's an infinite intelligence. I think it's often called God. But this infinite intelligence can be used, in my opinion, and I want for you all to at least be considering that. I guess business isn't just because it's business doesn't mean spirituality doesn't come into it, or the the greater spirit. All right, what's the last one? It's not it. Okay. Chapter 7 is really awesome because it's talking about the chapter is called organized planning. But in here, you'll find a lot of stuff that may make you want to just like kind of just check it out and see if you want to implement some of it. There's some stuff in here about the major attributes of leadership. You can, I mean, I benefited from that when I first came upon it, as well as the 10 major causes of failure in leadership. You know, check those out and see if that resonates for you. You'll also find, sorry, some old methods for marketing, but he gives you, Napoleon Hill gives a template for how to create a brief, something that you would be giving like as an applicant to a new job, or to someone who you're giving a proposal to. And so, yeah, like one of the awesome things in here, I've normally experienced this through an audiobook. I would definitely recommend you all check that out maybe. But in this chapter, they talk about how this young gentleman like basically was able to pitch his idea and like start above like the rest of everyone, because like he was clear, he had a plan, and I came in with confidence, and the company like recognized that like their value would be more than like standard what have you. So that's in there. But lastly, at the very end, you'll find 30 major causes of failure. Yep, check that out too. But in a self-inventory, 28 questions you can ask yourself about like how you're doing, the quality, the quantity, and there's like something right here, and the spirit, quality, quantity, and spirit of the way you're approaching life and what you're doing. I've done this a few times at the end of the year, and I mean, there's some hard questions, but it also invites us to like, you know, be real with ourselves and then plan for how to move forward. So as the year is coming to a close and the new one is approaching, yeah, this may be something you want to look into, and see where it drops you off at. That's all I've got for Think and Grow Rich. Hope that was an interesting, what would I say, just like introduction into it and some of the concepts. Any questions or comments? Right on. Well, tomorrow we will be talking about monkey mind at the border. Kind of, yeah, just closing out the goal planning section with a little bit more info from a recent or modern coach. He's like our age, about like, you know, what happens when people are approaching their dreams and about to make it happen, and how we can be aware of that and be persistent. So I saw y'all on mute. Any questions or comments? All right, y'all. Well, take care. Drive safe.
Greg. Thank you, brother Greg.
Yeah, for sure, man. Take care, Nick.
All right.